Welcome to today's lesson on diabetes, where we will explore the two main types of diabetes and how they're treated. In our roadmap for today, we will start by identifying and distinguishing between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Next, we will explore the treatment options available for managing each type, emphasizing the differences in their approaches and the reasons behind them. So far, you have learned how blood glucose levels are controlled in the body, including the roles of insulin and glucagon in regulating blood sugar. This foundational knowledge sets the stage for us to discuss how diabetes disrupts this balance and the strategies employed to manage this condition. Understanding the types of diabetes and their treatments highlights how the body's inability to regulate blood glucose can lead to chronic health issues. This insight is crucial for developing better treatment methods and improving the quality of life for those affected by diabetes. To begin, let's understand what diabetes is. Diabetes is a condition that prevents the body from properly regulating blood glucose levels. Blood glucose, or blood sugar, is the primary energy source for our body cells, and it comes from the food we eat. Insulin, a hormone produced by the pancreas, plays a crucial role in controlling blood glucose levels. There are two types of diabetes that cause different issues with blood sugar regulation. Let's study the two main types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. In type 1 diabetes, the pancreas produces little or no insulin. This lack of insulin means that glucose cannot be easily taken up by the cells, causing it to build up in the blood. Here's how it works. When a person with type 1 diabetes eats, the glucose from the food enters the bloodstream, but cannot be absorbed by the body's cells because there is little to no insulin. This results in high levels of glucose in the blood, which is dangerous. The body tries to get rid of the excess glucose by excreting it in the urine. This leads to frequent urination, and as the person loses more fluids through urine, they become very thirsty. To manage this condition, people with type 1 diabetes rely on insulin injections. These injections are typically administered at mealtimes to ensure that insulin is available to help cells absorb glucose from the bloodstream after food is digested. People with type 1 diabetes also need to be mindful of their carbohydrate intake and plan their physical activity carefully to keep their blood glucose levels stable. Additionally, medical researchers are exploring potential cures, such as pancreas transplants, pancreatic cell transplants, and genetic engineering techniques to enable pancreatic cells to produce insulin. In type 2 diabetes, the pancreas still produces insulin, but the body's cells do not respond properly to it. This is often linked to factors such as older age, obesity, and lack of exercise. Even though insulin is present, the body's cells become resistant to its effects. This means that glucose remains in the bloodstream instead of being absorbed by the cells. Managing type 2 diabetes often requires a carbohydrate-controlled diet and regular exercise. These lifestyle changes help improve the body's sensitivity to insulin. There are also various drugs available to help manage type 2 diabetes. Some of these drugs enhance the effectiveness of insulin on body cells, stimulate the pancreas to produce more insulin, or reduce the amount of glucose absorbed by the gut. While both types of diabetes result in high blood glucose levels, their causes and management strategies differ. Type 1 diabetes is mainly due to the lack of insulin production, requiring direct insulin therapy. On the other hand, type 2 diabetes involves insulin resistance and can often be managed through lifestyle changes and medications. Let's work through a question to better understand how to tackle GCSE level questions on diabetes and its treatment. A patient has recently been diagnosed with diabetes. They are not producing enough insulin due to an autoimmune attack on their pancreas. Which type of diabetes do they have? First, we recognize the key actions. The patient's pancreas is under an autoimmune attack, leading to insufficient insulin production. From this, we know that a lack of insulin production is characteristic of type 1 diabetes. Therefore, our conclusion is that the patient has type 1 diabetes. In today's lesson, we examine the two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2, and how they are treated under the broader context of the control of blood glucose concentration. We explored type 1 diabetes, where the pancreas produces little to no insulin, resulting in high blood glucose levels. Treatment for type 1 diabetes typically involves regular insulin injections or the use of insulin pumps to manage blood glucose levels. Next, we covered type 2 diabetes, which usually develops later in life and is often associated with lifestyle factors such as poor diet and lack of exercise. In this type, the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or becomes resistant to the insulin it does produce. Treatment options for type 2 diabetes generally include lifestyle changes like a healthy diet and regular exercise, oral medications, and sometimes insulin therapy if other treatments are insufficient. By understanding the differences between type 1 and type 2 diabetes and their respective treatments, you are now better prepared to grasp the complexities of blood glucose regulation and its impact on overall health.